Good morning everyone, this is BremSter and today I'm going to attempt a puzzle called Back and Forth by fjam. Now, the reason I'm saying that is if we look at the stats on this puzzle, in 152 days this puzzle has been solved 6 times. This puzzle is apparently incredibly tricky, and one of my testers, the one tester who managed to sort of get through this, said don't do it. But I want to. I spoke to fjam about this one, and I think I can potentially pull this one off. But this is going to be a long video, I expect. I don't know. But I am going to load up my my spreadsheet, which I use as a calculator, and I'm going to see how I go. I may not need it, but I expect I might. I'm going to try and do it without. And that's going to slow it down even further. And I'm also going to be doing explanations. So, of course, that's going to be as slow a solve as well, because when you're talking about your logic, if you're doing something in your head, it's always faster than when you try and explain it. One of the best analogies I've got for that is try and explain, if you can drive, try and explain what you do to someone in order to drive a car. Like the whole concepts of how you coordinate the pedals and everything. It's really hard to do. Teaching something is hard, and trying to explain how you do something is hard. And I've looked at the rules for this and it breaks my brain. So anyway, I'm going to try and see what I can do. So before I get on to Back and Forth by fjam, which is daunting, I do want to mention that, of course, the Modular Dutch Whispers pack, we're getting close to the end. So please have a look at the pack. All you need to do is submit 3 solution codes, which is row 3 from any of the puzzles, and that will help contribute to Rockrat and Zero, and I will contribute for every person who submits a donation to a cancer charity. In our respective countries. So, yeah, it's a little weird that people just don't seem to want to engage with that as a concept. We thought it would be something people would do, but apparently not. I don't know. It's very, very strange. Anyway, let's have a look at Back and Forth by fjam. So, base rules, simple. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So, in every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. Then we've got clues outside the grid give the sum of either the first or last X digits in the clue in their respective row and column, where X is the digit nearest the clue. So this is a variant of X sums. So the way X sums work, so if we were to say this is, let's look at this 16 clue, because some of these others would be way more obvious. So if they were normal X sums. If this was a normal X sums puzzle and this digit here was a 4, then what it would be saying is that the first 4 digits in this column have to sum to 16. But in this puzzle, if this was a 4, what it's saying is either those 4 digits sum to 16 or those 4 digits sum to 16. And that is weird because normally with X sums, you can turn around and say, well, this 24, for example, couldn't be a 3, because then if this was a 3, these 2 digits would have to sum to 21. So 3 is not a valid 24 clue. But in this puzzle, it is, because down here, you can put 7, 8, 9. And that is just mind-numbingly tricky. And I don't know how that's going to work. So I don't know what's going to happen with this puzzle. I don't know how long it's going to take me. This is going to be weird. So I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Because this is going to take so long, my mother's actually traveling at the moment. So I'm having to have my Discord open. I may get a phone call about it. There's all sorts of stuff I have to be aware of. That plus the fact that I've got to organize planning this around work. So there's a lot going on, and I'm going to try and do my best to do this in one session. So let's give this a shot. As you can see, I restarted my timer a while ago. I'm not too stressed about time. So where do I start in this puzzle? Now, a 2 is not a normal valid X sum clue, because if this was a 1, the clue would be a 1. If it was a 2, I'd have to do 2 in 2 cells, and they'd have to be 2 1s. So that doesn't, well, 2, if it was a 2, this next cell would have to be a 0, and then it gets more ridiculous after that. So how do you do a 2 clue? If this was a 1, this could be a 2. If this is a 2, Well, I can't put a 0 there, and over here I can't do two ones. This has to be a 1, which means this is a 2. That's okay. Nice beginning. So this clue has to be a 1 because you can only do 2 in one digit. There's no other way to sum to 2. And this is telling you how many digits is going to sum to the 2, and then the 2 has to be in one of the two ends, but this is the 1, so it can't be there, so this has to be the 2. And I'm going to mark this as a done clue. Okay, now, surely I can now look at this. Whoops, let's get out of that mode. Surely now I can look at this 11 clue, because this 11 clue now has to be done in 2. So either these two sum to 11 or these two sum to 11. But if these two sum to 11, this would be 110, which doesn't work. So these two have to sum to 11, so this is 29. Okay, nice beginning. So it's teaching you the basic concepts. That's good. I like that. Now, a 6 clue maybe? Because actually, no, well, it can't be 1 because the 1's gone from the box. So 6 could be done in 2, could be done in 3. It can't be done in 4. Because if it's 6, the minimum of 4 digits can sum to is 10, and that still holds true. So this is a 2 or a 3. And I don't think it can be 3. Because if this is a 3, these 3 digits would have to sum to 6, which would be 3, 2, 1, which I can't do. And if these 3 digits sum to 6, then it'd be 3, 2, 1, which I can't do. So this is a 2. So either these 2 digits sum to 6, which would be 2, 4, or these 2 digits would sum to 6, which would be 1, 5, because I can't use 2, 4. But I can't see how to narrow that down. So maybe this 32 clue, because the minimum 32 can be done in. Because surely some of the X sums math still works. Actually, what I want is my killer cage calculator, because the minimum 32 can be done in is 5. So this is 5. Whoops, I'm in the wrong. This is 5, 6. Whoops, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Now, it can't be 8, because if it's 8, the outies have to sum to 13. So this is 5, 6, or 7, which means either this sums to 13 or this sums to 13, or these sum to 13. So if it's 5, then these sum to 13 or these sum to 13. Actually, there's not a lot of information. Or these sum to 13 or these sum to 13 or these sum to 13 or these sum to 13. And that's all fine. But the value of what the cages can be is still true. Like 35 is 5, 6, or 7 as well, because the outies have to sum to 10. And 35 minimum is 5 cells, which is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to get off my calculator. It's drawing my attention too much, because 6, 7, 8, 9 is 30. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 35. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 5 digits. So the minimum you can do it with is 5 digits. If this was but you can do it in 7 with the outies being 10. You can't do it in 8 because then the single outie would have to be 10. So this is 5, 6, or 7, and it's that doesn't tell you much. Because I don't know. I mean, it tells me that that is part of the X sum. 33. 33 is also 5, 6, or 7. Because the maximum 4 can, yeah, this is also 5, 6, or 7, because the maximum 4 can get to is 30. So this is also 5, 6, or 7. So I've got 2 of 5, 6, or 7. 31 is 5, 6, or 7, but 30 I add 4, 4, 5, 6, or 7, because again, I could have two digits summing to 15, which are the outies. And what I mean by the outies is an entire row or column of a Sudoku contains all of the digits from 1 to 9. If you add those together, you get to 45. And immediately upon me saying that, I'm going to get people who send me messages saying, I'm not allowed to say that, that's a secret. No, that's just math. With an entire row or column summing to 45, if I take the 30 away from the 45, because I know that some of the digits summing to 30, the ones that aren't included in the sum are what we're calling the outies. So if 7 of them sum to 30, 45 minus 30 is 15. The other 2 would have to sum to 15, but you can do that. So if I had 7 with, I mean, it literally could be 7, those 7 summing to it, and it could be 7, 8, and then all of those summing to 30, which is crazy. And all of the others are quite middling. These 16s are interesting. Because you can't do 16 in 1. And I can't do 16 in 2 because there's a 2 in the column. So 16 could be done in 3, 4, 5. You can't do 16 in 6. So these are 3, 4, or 5 because the minimum 6 digits adds to is 21. So these are 3, 4, or 5. Can it be 5? I don't think one of them can be 5. Sorry, I've been playing video games with these headphones and the volume was wrong. I don't think one of them can be 5. Because 16 plus 16 is 32. So with the entire column summing to 45, but the 2 clues summing to 32, if I make one of them 5, let's say that is one of the 5s. That's a 5. So those 5 digits sum to 16. Actually, I don't think I could do 16 with a 2. 1, well, actually, if I use 16, 16 in 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So it'd have to be up here, which doesn't work. All right, no, I could make that the 5 and then this 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. But say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. This then is either 16 in 3 or 4. And if it was 16 in 4, then 16 plus 16 would equal 45, which it doesn't. And if it was 16 in 3, then this cell would have to be 45 minus 32, which is 13, and it can't be. I can't make either of them 5. So neither of these are 5. So these are 3 and 4. So one of them is 3 long, one of them is 4 long, which means there's 2 cells in the middle here that sum to 13. But I can't use the 2 in that. Because if these were the 2 cells, so if this was the 3 and this was the 4, those 2 cells there would have to sum to 13, and they can't. So those 2 cells are the ones not in the clue. So this is the 4, this is the 3, these sum to 13. Well, they're not 9, 4, they could be 8, 5, they could be 7, 6. Okay, that's not helpful. But those 2 cells, wait a minute, so these sum to 16, so these have to sum to 10. Well, then they could be 1, 9, they can't be 2, 8, they can't be 3, 7, they can't be 4, 6. This is 1, 9. So now what can this be? Actually, now I know that this is 3, these 2 cells here have to sum to 13. They're not 9, 4. They're either, actually these are 8, 5 or 7, 6. How do I know the order? Because these sum to 13 and these sum to 13. I don't think I do. Maybe I do because of this 22 clue. Because how do I sum to 22 without using 1, 2, 3, or 4? This is, you can do it in 5, you can do it in 6. You can't do it in 7 because 7, the minimum 7 digits can be is 28. So this is a 5 or a 6. By the way, I can tell by Sudoku there's a 2 in one of those. So this is a 5 or a 6, but these sum to 13. So if this is a 5, this is an 8. If this is a 6, this is a 7. But I don't know if the 5 is those 5 digits or 6 is those 6 digits. Can this be a 6? If that's a 6, then I would have 6 digits on one end or the other summing to 22. 45 minus 22 is 23. The only way to make 23 is 689. So this would have to be 689. And then these digits, which I can't do. If this is a 6, I would need 3 digits to sum to 23. Now, these 3 digits can't sum to 23 because there's 2 and these would have to sum to 21, which you can't do. And if these 3 digits sum to 23, they'd have to be 689, but I don't have it because this would be 67, but there's a 9 there. I can't do 689. This is actually a 5, which means these sum to 13. So this is the 8 and this is a 6-7 pair. That is cool. And now, what other clues are done? This clue is done and this clue is done. Now, what I want to do is re-look at this because this is 6. Oh, no, this could still be 1 or this could be 4. It hasn't actually. So either this is 4 or this is 1, but I don't know which. I don't know where to look. Because these clues... I don't know enough about these clues. One is in here somewhere. $20 can be done in as low as 3 and as high as 5, because the minimum 6 is 21. So this is 3, 4, or 5. 16 can't be 1 or 2. So this is 3, 4, or 5, because again, the minimum 6 could be is 21. Now, if this is 5, these would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, which actually seems possible. I just have to put the 4 in there. $24. Minimum 24 could be is 3. Because remember, I could put them down here. This is crazy. Maximum 24 could be is 6. So 3, 4, 5, 6, but it can't be 4. Because once I hit 7, it's 28. And 16 is the same as this. It's 3, 4, or 5. But it's 4 or 5 because of this 3. So 16 in 4 or 5. Now, if it's 5, this would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Which actually works because I could put the 1 would be here, 4 would be here. Because I've already got 1 and 4 in this box. And this would be 2, 3, 6. If this is 5, if this is 4, hang on, that's if this is 5. If this is 4, then those would sum to 12, or those would sum to 16. Hang on a minute. 16 plus 24 is 30. Sixteen plus 24 is 30. Now, hang on, this can't be 3 anymore. This cannot be 3. Because if this is 3, if this is 3, I can't get 21 in those. And if this is 3, this would have to be 7, 8, 9, and I can't do it because this is 4 or 5. This is not 3. Okay, great. Now I've got a 5, 6, 7 triple. I don't know if that helps me. Well, 1 is in one of those cells. No. Anyway, but now wait a minute. If the 16 is here and is 4 long, and the 24 was here and is 5 long, they're bare minimum. If the 16 is here and is 4 long, and the 24 is here and is 5 long, then the entire column would have to sum to 30. And the entire column sums to 45. And if I reverse it, surely... So if the 16 is up here and is its bare minimum, and if the 24 is down here and its bare minimum, then it's still the entire column is summing to 30, which is just wrong. So I've broken... What have I broken? I had... Oh. No, what that means is, for example, if the 16 was here, then the 24 is here and is either 5 or 6 long. So they overlap, because otherwise the total of the column is wrong. Because of what I was just explaining. If the minimum length of the 16 is 4, because you can't do it in 2. Why did I say you can't do it in 2? Why did I say you can't do the 16 in 2? Because if this is a 2, the next digit would be 14. And if this was a 2, if I did it up here, because it's a 5 or a 6 clue, the other digit would have to be higher than 10. This can't be a 2. This one could be, though. That's where I made the mistake. This one couldn't be a 2 because of that 2. And then I replicated this down here. This could have been a 2. I just replicated this 16 down to here. And then I took the 3 out. But this one could have been a 2. And I'm sure people have been yelling at the video going, why couldn't this be a 2? Right, but it can't be a 2. Because if this is a 2 and the 16 is here, this 2 would mean this is 2 and 14. And if it's up here, the 5, 6 here is being made irrespective, because I can't do the 24 in 3 with these values. 2 would still not allow me to do 24 in 3. So this is a 5 or a 6. And if this is a 2, either that is a 14 or this is a 610 or a 511, which doesn't work. So this is not a 2. Okay. So now, because of that, these can't be separate. Because, as I said, if this is 4 and 5, they're minimums, the entire column sums to 30. And if I make these bigger, say, 4 and 6, the problem is even worse, because then the entire column sums to less than 30. So they have to overlap. So if this is the 16, then the 24 will come from the same direction. And if this is the 16, the 24 will come from the same direction. Now, the difference between 16 and 24 is 8. So if this was 4 and 5 long, that would have to be an 8, and it can't be. And if this was 4 and 5 long, this would have to be an 8, and it can't be. And the same is true for 5 and 6. If this is a 5, this is a 6. So hang on, if this is a 5, it would go here or here, and the other one would go here or here, which means one of those would have to be an 8, and it can't be. So this cannot be a 5. That's a 4. But if this is a 5, this 16 clue is... That takes 4 out of here. But this 16 clue is now either here or here. Now, if this was a 5, then this would be the difference between 16 and 24, which is 8, and that would have to be an 8, and it can't be. That's a 6, which takes 6 out of both of those. So either the 31 or the 35 is a 5 clue, which is still possible. This could be a 535 if this... Hang on, how do you do 35 in 5? This is a 7. This is absolutely a 7. Because the only way to do 35 in 5 is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If this is a 5, then either those would have to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, breaking that, or those would have to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, breaking that. That's a 7. That's a 5. Meaning that's not a 5. That's not a 7. But somewhere in here, if that's the 4, that's the 6, and those sum to 8, or that's the 4, and that's the 6, and those sum to 8. So in here, I've got 2 digits that sum to 8. I can use 1, 7, I can't use 2, 6, I can't use 3, 5. So there's a 1, 7 in here somewhere, because 2, 6, and 3, 5 is not possible. I can't put a 1 there. So there's a 1, 7 pair in here somewhere, which means there's a 1 down here somewhere, and there's a 7 in one of those two by Sudoku. There's no 1 or 7 used in the 16 or 24 total. So the 16 is a 4-digit total without using 1 or 7. So if it was here, I'd need 12, and I couldn't use 1 or 7. How would I do that? 2, 3, 5. I couldn't use 1, 7, or 6. Or 4. Hang on. So I couldn't use... So what digits would I have available? I couldn't use 1. I could put a 3 there. I could put a 2 down there. I couldn't use 4. I could use 5. I'm not sure. But I have to use a 9 in one of these, don't I? Where is the 9? No, the 9... Because the 1 and the 7 is the difference between the 16 and the 24. Can I use the 9 in the 16? Because 4 and 9 is 13. The other two did... Right, I can't use the 9. And I know by Sudoku the 9 is down here. Because the 9 and the 9. The 9 is down here. And I cannot use the 9 in the 16. Because if I use the 9 in the 16, I've got 4 and 9... Oh, no, wait. Or if it was 6 and 9, then the other two digits would have to sum up to 1, which doesn't work. And if it was 4 and 9, I'm already at 13. The other two digits would have to sum up to 3, which is 1 and 2, but the 1 is disposed to the 8 total. Holy cow, this puzzle. So... this is the clues. That is the 24, so this is the 1-7 pair. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, and 6 go into those. That's not a 6. So these sum to 16, which means these sum to 10, and they can't use a 1. So these are 2, 3, 4. No, wait. 2, 3, 4 is 9, not 10. These sum to 10. Well, hang on. This 4 makes this a 3. This is a 4, 6. So this is 9. These have to sum to 7. They're not 1, 6. They could be 2, 5. They can't be 3, 4. These are 2, 5. So these are an 8, 9 pair. Well, actually, I could have just used basic Sudoku for that. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, and 5. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's no 7 there. And that is both the 24 and the 16 done, because those sum to 24 and those sum to 16. This is crazy, by the way. Oh, this 6 clue. This can't be 5, 1 anymore. So this is 2 and 4, and the 6 clue is done. Okay, so what comes next? This has to come from a different direction to the 31, because the 30 is done in more digits than the 31. So if they came from the same direction, then the 6th digit would have to be negative. That is not necessarily true for the 35 and the 33 clue. If this was a 5, they'd come from the separate direction. Can that still work? If this is a 5, then I need 4 digits summing to 12. But I could do the 33 there and make those sum to 12. Although that would mean those have to sum to 7, which would mean they're 1, 2, 4. Which doesn't work. So, if this is 5, then either those digits sum to 33, and these would need to sum to 12, which would mean those digits need to sum to 5, which they cannot do, because the minimum is 1, 2, 3, which is 6, or those digits would need to sum to 12. Now, for those digits to sum to 12, if this is a 5, those digits need to sum to 7. But the only way to make 7 is with 1, 2, 4, and I can't put 1, 2, or 4 in that. That is a 6. That is a 7. That is crazy. And now I've got the makeup of these. Does that help me at all? Seven in 30. Sorry, 30 in 7. Actually, it does help me. That helps me a lot. Because 30 in 7 means that the outies, as I was discussing before, have to sum to 15, but I can't do 5, 10. So this is 7, 8. And now the 30 clue is done because these digits here now must sum to 30. And now I've got 5 digits summing to 31. But I can't make those 5 digits sum to 31, or those digits there would have to sum to 14, and they already sum to 15. So what I need is those 5 digits to sum to 31, which means those 3 digits there have to sum to 16. Or those 4 digits there have to sum to 14, which means those 3 digits there have to sum to 9, which is 1, 2, 6. I can't use 1, 3, 5. So these are either 1, 2, 6 or 2, 3, 4. And then there's no 1, 2, or 3 there. So this is a 4 or a 6. If it's 1, 2, 6, this is 1, 2, 6. And if it's 2, 3, 4, this is 2, 3, 4, and there must be a 2 in there. Which means that's a 2 by Sudoku. Because now I can't put 2 in any of those. I can't put 2 in any of those. So 2 has to be in one of those. That's a 7, and that 2 looks up. That's a 2 by Sudoku. And now row 1 is incredible because 1 can't be there, 1 can't be there, 1 is in one of those 2. That is a 2, 3 pair. These had to sum to 9? Please let me have got that right. Because these sum to 31, so these sum to 14, minus 5 is 9. These have to sum to 9, 2 is 3 is 5, that's a 4. And now the 31 clue is done. That's not a 2. This is stunning. So I could get rid of the green. And I know what these are. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, hopefully, yeah, those digits sum to 30. 169 is 16, 20 plus 10 is 30, and 31 in 5, 7, 8, 15, plus 6, 9 is another 15, plus 1 is 31. That works. That is stunning. Oh, this 4 makes this 6, which makes this 4, which takes 6 out of there. $22 in 5. 22 in 5. Actually, 35 in 7. So either this is a 3 or this is a 4. That's still not resolved. If this is a 3, that's a 3, that's a 3. It's all okay. I can't believe this 35 is not resolved. Anyway, what was I looking at? I was looking at... There was something I was looking at. It was this 22 in 5. So either these sum to 11... or those, or these. Hang on, can I make those sum to 11? I think this has to be a 1. Because if this is the 5, then these have to sum to 11, which means this can't be a 9. Just starting with that. If blue, however, is the 22, then these, oh, hang on, that might work. Because I've only got 6, so I need another 16. And if this was a 9, I would have 15. These would have to sum to 7. I couldn't use 1, 6. I couldn't use 2, 5. I couldn't use 3, 4. No, this can't be a 9. If this is a 9, I obviously can't put it here because 9 plus 6 plus 5 is 20. Those two digits would have to sum to 2. If I do it here, and I've got 6 plus 9, that's 15, these would have to sum to 7. I couldn't use 1, 6. I couldn't use 2, 5. I couldn't use 3, 4. I couldn't do it. That is a 1. Which means that's a 7 and that's a 1. Now, if this is the 22, 13, 18, 19, this would be a 3, which seems okay. If this is the 22, I've got 7. Actually, what is this triple? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 8, 9. If this is the 22, I've got 7. I need another 15. I can't make 15 in there. There's no way to make 15 in there. So this is the 3, and this is an 8, 9 pair. And the 22 clue is done. Okay, so there's 5 clues I haven't done yet. So the 35 in 7 isn't helping me at all, but the 33 in 6 might. Actually, 20 in 3? I might be able to eliminate this. Well, this 8 makes this 9, which makes this 8. It's really easy to get distracted away from Sudoku, and I feel that's going to be a problem for me. Maybe this 32 now that I've got those? No, 32. If this is 5 now, either those would have to sum to 13, which would mean those would have to sum to 8, which I can't do, or those would have to sum to 13, but I've already blown the total. That is not a 5. Now, if 6, those would have to sum to 13, or those do sum to 13, so this is likely to be a 6, I expect. And if this was a 7, those don't sum to 13, so this would be 7 and 6. So either way, one of those two... Oh, that's cool! If this is a 6, there's my 13. But if this is a 7, that has to be a 6 to make those sum to 13. So 6 is in one of those two, and that's a 9, and that's a 6, and that's an 8, and that's a 9. That's stunning. This is a quadruple now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can go in any of those. 6 can go in any of those. Great. 7 in any of those. Okay, that's not helpful. No, 6 can't go in any of those. 6 is in one of those two because of the 6s I just found. This is 6 or 7. If it's 6, those are the 13. If it's 7, that's a 6. Okay. What about... I don't know which one to look at. 33 and 6. So either those sum to 12, which would mean these have to sum to 5, which would be 1, 4, or these sum to 12, which means these have to sum to 6. Oh, hang on. This 6 makes this 7, which makes this 6, which puts 7 right there by Sudoku, which places that as a 7 by Sudoku, which means this is the 6. This is now a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. There's no 3 in any of those. That's the 3. This is a 5, 8 pair. I now know what these pairs are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are 2 and 5. This is nuts. Now, If this 20 clue is drawing my attention. If this is 3, that actually works. I could put a 5 there and that would work. If it's 4, 4, 7. If it's 4, actually, let's look at the extreme first. 5. If it's 5, I couldn't do 20 there because I'm already at 15 and I need those 3 digits to sum to 5. Those 2 digits would have to sum to 0. And I couldn't do 20 there because the total is already 23. So this is not 5. 4. Now, if it's those 4, I can eliminate here immediately because I would... Oh, actually, I can't. 3 or 4 both seem to be possible. Damn it. 3 is not in any of those. 3 is in one of those 2. Eight is up here. That's not helping me. You know I'm desperate when I'm falling back on Sudoku. 8 is in one of those 2. Hang on, so it is 33 and 6 maybe. Because now I've got more information. This could be... If this is 6, 4... Because remember, either this is 3 or this... Oh, hang on. This can't be 7, 3 anymore. This is 6, 4. This is 3. Because that 3 prevented this being 7, 3 in order to complete this 35 in 7. So now the 35 is done. It's those. Oh, this is cool. Now I've got to do 20 in 3. But that's not 20 in 3. That's 14. So this is the 20 in 3. That has to be the 5. Now these are known. That's not the 3. This is the 3. And these are a 1-2 pair, which are remarkably unfulfilled. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, and 9 go into there. There's no 4 down there. That's the 4, and that was that 4 doing some work. These are 1, 2, and 8. Because I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. These are 1, 2, and 8, but there's a 1, 2 pair in the column. That's the 8, that's not the 8. The 2 looks down, making that the 1. That becomes the 2, and that becomes the 1. This is now a known triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 5, and 9. There's no 2 there, there's no 2 there. That's the 2. This is a 5, 9. Now, this 3 looks up saying that's not 3. So it's 16 in 4 or 5. Now, 16 in 5 is surely going to be a problem because... And I've done the 20 now, actually, because this was that 20. Now, what haven't I done? 33 in 6 I haven't done. Actually, I have, because those sum to 12. Those sum to 12, so those are automatically going to sum to 33. So I've done the 33 in 6. The only clue I haven't done now is the 16. 16 in 4 or 5. Now, 16 in 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Now, if this is 5, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 would have to be in those digits there. Oh, it's beautiful. That wouldn't work because this would be the 1, this would be the 2, and that would be... Oh, no. 1. Yeah, this would be 1, this would be 2, this would be 3 because I couldn't use the 5, the 7, the 8, or the 9. So if this was the 5 clue, because remember, the only way to do 16 in 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So this would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. This would be the 1 because I couldn't use 9. This would be the 2 because I can't use 5. This would be the 3 because I can't use 7, 8. And the 1, 2, 3 there breaks that cell. So if this is 5, that's broken. This is 4. And now it's 16 in 4. Now, I do need to figure out where the 16 in 4 is, but I might be able to do more Sudoku because these are 4, 5, and 9. No, they're not. They're not 4, 5, and 9 at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9 go into those. There's no 5 or 6 at the top. That's a 9. There's no 9 there. That looks down, making that the 5, which makes that the 6. The 5 looks across, making that the 9. 1 is in one of those two. 2, 3 is in one of those two. And now where is 3 in the top row? 3 has been there. That's probably been there for ages, actually. I don't know. I'm not sure. Whatever. But this is now a known pair. Well, where is 8 in the top row? That's the 8. That's the 1. There's no 8 in either of those. So what is this quadruple? 1, 3, 5, 8. And there's no 3 there, and there's no 1 there. This quadruple is 4, 6, 7, and 9. There's no 4 there. There's no 6 there. So 6 is in one of those two, and 4 is in one of those two. So 16. So I'm either putting 12 into those or 16 into those. Okay, is there Sudoku I've missed? No, hang on. How have I done this 32? Is this 32 just done? Yeah, the 32 was done when I did the 7, 6. I just didn't mark it off. Okay. I was hoping for something there. So how does this resolve? Can I do 12 in there? If this is a 9, this would have to be 1, 2, and it can't be. But remember, it can be over here, so I can't eliminate that. If hang on a minute. If this oh no, hang on. Question is, can that be a 16? These 3 cells here would have to sum to 12. Can I make those sum to 12? If this is 7, these would have to sum to 5, which I can't do. If this is a 9, these would have to sum to 3, which I can't do. So this would be 6, 1, 5. If this is 6, 1, 5, that becomes 9. That becomes 7. That becomes 8. That becomes 2. And that becomes 3. Okay. One 5 here would mean these are 3, 8. What am I missing? Oh, come on, don't fall apart here. This has been so cool. Don't fall apart here. Oh, this 1 looks down, making that 2, which makes that 1. The 2 looks up, making that 5, making that 2. The 5 looks down, making that 9, which makes that 5. That takes 9 out of those. This is a 6-7 pair. So this is the 4. There's no 4 there. There is a 9 in one of those two. And now this is the 16. Because this can't be the 16. Because if this is the 16, if blue is the 16, there is a 9 in one of those two, and there's a 7 or an 8 there. So the minimum these are is 9 plus 7, which is 16. So wherever the 9 is plus the 7, I'm at 16, and the other two cells would have to be 0. So blue is not the 16. This is the 16. And the minimum I've got here already is 10. So I can't put an 8 in either of those. And if this is 7, 4, that's 11. These would have to sum to 5, which I can't do. Because 3, 1, I'd have to remove the 5s. This would be 3, 1, which is not there. So this is the 6, which means that's not the 6. This is the 7, 9 pair, which makes this the 6 and this the 7. These have to sum to 6 now. I can't use 3, 3. So it's 5 and 1. That now sums to 16. And my 16 clue is now done. And hopefully I can resolve it with Sudoku. There's no 1 or 5 there. That's the 8. That's the 3. That makes that the 5 and that the 8. The 3 looks across making that 2 and that 3. The 2 looks across making that 5 and that 2. The 8 looks across making that 7 and that 8. The 7 looks back making that 9 and that 7. The 9 looks across making that 1 and that 9. And that's the solution. It now has 7 solves in 152.1 days. That puzzle is nuts burger. Absolute nuts burger. Wow, but it's beautifully telegraphed. Absolutely stunningly telegraphed. I have no idea how. Wow. I mean, just even the opening with this being a 2 and that forcing these 3 digits because of the 211. And then this 2 forcing the 16th. Just lots of different ways of exploring that. I don't know how linear that path was, but I felt like every place I looked, I got information. And sure, sometimes I looked here and went, that's not the place to look. But there's so few places to look. And the interaction here with figuring out that they had to overlap, otherwise it was broken. I definitely made a mistake when I transposed this 16 clue down here, but I think I figured out, but was because of this 2, and I was able to go back and then prove, because this had to be 5 or 6, that I couldn't make those 2 clues sum to the required total. Yeah, very, very cool stuff. Absolutely nuts burger, though. Now, definitely on the harder side for my channel, but I'm really glad I did it. And even though this is, what is it, 152 days old, I'm recording this like 5 or 6 days before I post it. What's the best CTC does it before I release this video? We will see. Really, really cool. Thank you very much, fjam, for the puzzle. Really, wow, just great. And good luck, everyone, with your solving. And if you need help, that's what the video is for. Yeah, good luck with your solving, everyone. Bye.